Guys, please confirm to me. All of you give me voice to guys. Please confirm to me. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you give me voice to. Those who are doing download. Guys, please confirm to me. All of you give me voice to. Those who are doing download. Guys, all of you please confirm to me. All of you give me voice to. Now, please confirm to me. All of you get my voice on the screen now. Is my voice is clear? Is it clear now? Yeah. Right. Right. Good afternoon, guys. And I'm requesting to all of you try to come to the class on time. But in demo classes are very startup, maybe 5 to 10 minutes delay. I used to start the classes there. But once the classes are started effectively on time, you have to come here, and on time we are going to start our class. Max 4:30 in the sense, max cases at 4:30 I will start the classes there. Maybe 1 or 2 days, maybe somewhat. In some days maybe I may be delay, but max by 4:30 I should be here. So if I come to the class by 4:30, in the sense, you have to come here by 4:20 or 4:25 max. So, right, sir. Anyway, I think so. You may come for the class on time, and so let's come to the content. Right, sir. And check it what we completed there in the last session. We started clearly differences between Java and other programming languages, part given there. So in the differences between Java and other programming languages, almost all 2 points we understood. Guys, can you tell me what are the 2 points here we understand there? The first one is like C and C++ are static programming languages. Java is what there, a dynamic programming language. Second point is what there, C and C++, that means preprocessor is required in a C and C++, but preprocessor is not required in Java. So these 2 points we understood. Then after that, today, the third point here we have to understand C and C++ are platform dependent programming languages, but Java is platform independent programming language. Right. Right, sir. Before starting this, a small information to all of you. There is a question for us, guys. Can I learn any other programming language in parallel with core Java? Yes, not required as of now. Even once some basic concepts are completed in core Java, parallel to this, I'll start what there, advanced Java. Okay. Then what I'm telling to you clearly regarding this particular point. Anyway, then I will give some roadmap to you regarding this. Already given that information in the demo classes, but I think so it may be useful for you. Try to observe this clearly. So I said to you clearly, your permanent time for the classes is what there. I given already. Then 6 to 7:30. Am I right or not? From which day onwards you have to attend at 6 to 7:30. Right, sir. I'll give some clarity for you. So now the classes are going on 4:30 to, right, sir. 4:30 to, what time there? 4:30 to 6. You're attending the classes, kid. Okay. Now understand this. Now here what topics I am discussing with you now. Here the topic is just introduction part is going on. Getting my point or not? Introduction part is going on. Now 6 to 7:30 time. From which date onwards here we have to attend there. The date is coming already. 6 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. You have to attend your classes there. Now where the topic what I am going to start there. First Java. That means steps to prepare first Java application. Steps to prepare first Java application. This is a topic, guys. Understand it clearly. From which date onwards you have to attend there. Understand clearly. Tomorrow onwards you have to attend at 6 to 7:30 sessions. But what about this class? No, introduction is not completed here. Introduction part is not completed, right? But we should not stop it, right? So few days of time you have to attend this class parallelly. This class you have to attend few days of time. Okay, parallel to this 4:30 to 6 o'clock. I'll give some 10 minutes break in between these two sessions. No, then tomorrow onwards we have to attend at 6 to 7:30 also, along with the 4:30 to 6. Guys, all of you are getting the schedule. What I'm telling to you, 4:30 to 6 is going to be happen max 1 week to, or maybe 6 to 8 days of time. This class from now onward 6 to 8 days of time this class is going to be happen. But tomorrow along with this 4:30 to 6 o'clock you have to attend at what time there? No, 6 to 7:30 also. There I'm going to start a second topic. That's what there, steps to prepare first Java application. Before the steps to prepare first Java application, what topics are available? I'm going to complete the topics under 4:30 to 6 o'clock. Please recognize this schedule, what I am telling there. Your permanent time, your permanently the remaining entire course is going to be, your entire course is going to be continued in this particular time only up to end of the core Java. Guys, are getting my point here? What I'm telling you, up to the end of the core Java, you are going to continue in this time only, 6 to 7:30, end of core Java. Observe carefully. This is another one, kid. All right, sir. Next one is what there? Yeah. For online students, I'll give that link details to you. Don't worry. Those who are in online, I'll give link details to you. Or admin people will send a link information to you. Don't worry. So you have to attend for that sessions 6 to 7:30 tomorrow. So tomorrow, how many sessions you have to attend there? 2 sessions. What are the 2 sessions here? First one is what there? 4:30 to 6. Second one is what there? 6 to 7:30. Between 2 slots, I will not continue the continuous of the timing there. Then between 2 slots, I will give some 10 minutes of break, 10 to 15 minutes break. I will give. After that only, I will continue the sessions. Don't worry. Easily we can understand the content clearly. Okay. Then afterwards, these topics, this 4:30 to 6 is going to be continued up to a week of time max. Up to 1 week of time these classes are going to be continued. After that continuously we have to attend at what time there? No, 6 to 7:30 only. That's it, guys. Now this is a schedule change. This is a permanent max. So once you are coming to the 6 to 7:30, then it's continuously you are going to have class at 6 to 7:30 only. Okay, clear? All of you are getting clarity on this? Right, sir. Once again, I'll rewind this point at the end of the class. Try to follow this. For online students, guys, and those who are attending now online here, now just rewind me. At the end of the class, I will share that link details to you. At the end of the class, I will share that link information to you. So they try to attend for it. Right. Then still, anyway, our admin people will share that link to you so that you can attend for the sessions. Okay. Thank you. Thanks a lot, guys. Guys, and then fee details and all these things. Better to talk with our admin people. Then myself is not related to that admissions and all this process here. Technical, if you have any questions, then I can give response for it. But fee details and everything, better to talk with our admin people. So they will provide the information to you. So better to talk with these numbers. This is our contact person here. Then talk with him. So Harsha, he's our admin. So just better to talk with him. He will give more clarity on this kind of content here. But my everyday videos will come, sir. No problem. Don't worry. Everyday videos will come. Maybe 1 or 2 days of the time. Maybe initially it might be delayed there. But once you are in track, definitely everyday videos within 1 hour of completing our class, videos will come. Why? Because for downloading point of view, 1 hour of time it will take there. Once it is completed, then you are able to get videos on moment within 1 hour. Our admin people will upload the videos for the sake of you. No need to worry for it. Maybe in the starting point of view, that access may be delayed 1 or 2 days of time. But once the access was given there, then everyday videos we are able to get it. So better to talk with these persons there than these numbers. They will give more clarity on our admission process. Okay, right, sir. Fine. Alright, then first of all, myself is a trainer for you, not a business person, right? So better to talk with our admin people regarding that fees and everything. All right, shall we start the content now? I think you understood my updation, right? Clearly, right now, come to the topic there. What's the topic here? I'm discussing with you differences between Java and others. In that, differences between Java and others. Now tell me, C and C++ are static programming languages and Java is what there? A dynamic programming language. Tell me guys, how can we say C and C++ are static programming languages? What is the reason for it now? Tell me. How C and C++ are static programming languages now? Tell me. Tell me what is the reason for it now? If any programming language allows memory allocation for the primitive data at what time? At a compilation time, then that programming language is a static programming language. Examples for static programming languages are what? C and C++. In C and C++, memory will be allocated for the data at what time they know? At a compilation time, not at a run time. All right, sir, leave this one here. Then after that, after completion of this, what next one here I'm telling to you. Another point is, if any programming language allows memory allocation for the data at a runtime, not at compilation time, at a runtime, then that memory allocation is called as dynamic memory allocation, and that programming language is what their dynamic programming language. All right, sir. Then what is the best example for dynamic programming languages now? Java and Python. In Java applications, memory will be allocated for the primitive data types at a runtime only, not at a compilation time here. Okay, next point. After completion of this particular one, what next one here we are able to understand there. Some diagrammatic representation again, what is compilation and what is execution. Some points here understood there. That's okay, fine. Second point here we discussed it here. Preprocessor is required in C and C++, but preprocessor is not required in Java. Right, observe carefully. Preprocessor is the first phase in compilation. Already given some diagrammatic representation there. Preprocessor is the first phase in what their compilation. Okay. Then what is the job of this preprocessor in programming languages? I given some information there. In C and C++ applications, the complete predefined library was provided in the form of header files. What are the examples for header files? No, stdio.h, conio.h, math.h, and so on. Conio.h, math.h, and so on. If you want to use predefined library in C and C++ applications, then we have to include header files into C and C++ applications. To include header files in C and C++ applications, we have to use what there? Hash include statement. What are the examples for that hash include statement I have given there? Hash include stdio.h, hash include conjugate.h, hash include math.h. When we compile C and C++ applications, the preprocessor will perform some actions now. What are the various activities that preprocessor is able to perform there? First, a preprocessor will recognize all the hash include statements. Preprocessor will take all the header files what we specified. Preprocessor will go inside the C software where preprocessor will search for the specified header files. If all the header files are not available, where preprocessor will raise an error. If header files are available, then preprocessor will take that header files. Preprocessor will load that header files content to the memory. Preprocessor will load the data files content to the memory. So this type of loading predefined library at a compilation time is called as what there? Static loading. Static loading is performed by preprocessor. So here the conclusion. What is the main requirement of the preprocessor is what there? To recognize hash include statements in order to load header files content to the memory. Next one. Then what next one here? All right, sir. Then all the points here I given there. Then after that, regarding this Java, why preprocessor is not required in the case of Java applications? That I given there clearly. Understand my point here? In Java, the complete predefined library was provided in the form of classes and interfaces in packages. What are the examples for these packages? No, java.io, java.util, java.sql, and so on. So many packages are available. To include these packages in a C and C++ applications, we are going to use import statement. What statement here we are using here? Import statement. Import java.io.star, import java.util.star, import java.sql.star, where star is representing all classes and interfaces from the specified package. Yes, sir, got my point or not? Next one, after completion of this, after understanding this particular point here, if we compile Java program, then what compiler will do? Compiler will perform some activities. What are the various actions which are performed by compiler there? First, compiler will recognize all import statements. Compiler will recognize what there? All import statements. Compiler will take the provided package names. Compiler will take what there? The provided package names. Then compiler will check these packages are available or not in the Java software. If these packages are not available in Java software, then compiler will raise an error. Then compiler will raise an error. Okay, for example, if these packages are available inside the Java software, compiler will not raise any error. At the same time, compiler will not load any package content to the memory. Compiler will not load any package content to the memory. But who is responsible to load predefined library to the memory? Who is responsible to load predefined library to the memory? In the case of Java, JVM is responsible for loading predefined library to the memory at runtime as per the requirement. At runtime as per the requirement, JVM is responsible for loading predefined library. Okay, loading predefined library at runtime. Loading predefined library at runtime is called as what there? Dynamic loading. Loading predefined library at runtime is called as what there? Dynamic loading. Yes, sir, all of you are getting my point or not? This is what exactly the meaning of what now? Dynamic loading the content here now. That's okay, fine. Now coming to the point here, in Java, preprocessor is not required. Why preprocessor is not required in the case of Java? What is the reason for it? No, in Java, hash include statements and header files are not existed. In Java, hash include statements and header files are not existed. Because of that reason, in Java, because of that reason, preprocessor is not required in the case of what their Java applications. Right, so some diagrammatic representations also be given there, clearly understand it. Then I given one important interview question, guys. What was that question here I given there? That question is, what are the differences between hash include statement and import statement? What are the differences between hash include statement and import statement? All right, sir. Then what's the point here I'm telling to you? Not try to understand it. No. First one is what there? Hash include statements exist in C and C++, but import statements exist in Java. Hash include statements include the predefined library existing in the form of header files Import statements includes the predefined library existing in the form of classes and interfaces in packages. Hash include statements are recognized by preprocessor. Import statements are recognized by both compiler and JVM. Hash include statements support static loading. Import statements support dynamic loading. All right, sir. Then what next one here? After that, all right, sir. The next one is what there to include multiple multiple hash include statements in our program. Then we have to use multiple. What we have to use there? Multiple hash include statements here. We have to use. Getting my point or not? We have to use what there? Multiple hash include statements here. We have to use. Okay, fine. So example I've given there. Hash include yesterday.h comma conju.h comma math.h invalid. But hash include yesterday.h, hash include conju.h, hash include math.h. All these are what their valid cases here. To include more than one class or more than one interface of the same package, we are able to use single import statement. Here I given that import java.ivo.star that we are getting clearly. Right, sir. That's okay, fine. So these are the various differences here we understood there. Already we completed up to this part here. We are completed there, right? Shall we start our new topic today? All of you ready for it? This is one of the important topic we have to understand. One of the important topic here we have to understand. All right, sir. Now try to understand this point clearly. All right, let's understand this clearly. First of all, tell me before C, C++, Java, before this platform dependent or platform independent, before this point, first of all, tell me when a programming language is platform dependent programming language. When a programming language is platform dependent programming language. And when a programming language is platform independent programming language. We have to understand this point clearly. All of you observe carefully. If any programming language allows to represent, if any programming language allows its applications to perform compilation and execution both on the same operating system. If any programming language allows its applications to perform compilation and execution both on the same operating system, then that programming language is called as platform dependent programming language. Come on, what's the definition I've given there? Now try to understand it now. If any programming language allows its applications to perform compilation and execution on the same operating system, no changes on this operating system, on the same operating system, then that application, that programming language, is called platform dependent programming language. Clear? The definition is clear, guys. All of you understand this now? If any programming language allows its applications to perform compilation and execution, both must be on the same operating system, not on two different operating systems, then the programming language is what there? Platform dependent programming language. The examples C and C++. Examples are what there? C and C++. Why C and C++ are platform dependent programming languages? How can we say C and C++ are platform dependent programming language? How can we say that? Right. For that, I'm giving some clarity. Now try to understand it clearly. Observe carefully. I want to take one simple representation. Right, sir. For example, here I have taken a C program. Everybody must understand this point clearly. Put some concentration here. Now this is what their a C program dot C. Okay. Here we have written this program in high level representation or not? This program is in what their high level representation. Observe carefully. Alright, sir. Next one is we need to compile this program or not. So we have to go for what their compilation. Now here we are going to take compilation here. This is compilation. Understand this. Next one is what there after this compilation. Whenever we perform this compilation, what files here we are able to get there? Now tell me guys, all of you know. Here we are able to get one type of file here. Now tell me all of you, what files here we are able to get here? Come on, in the case of C programming language, when we perform compilation, here we are able to get one type of file. What file here we are able to get here? Dot exe file, not a dot class file. Right, sir. What files here we are able to get there? Dot exe file. In the case of C and C++, it may be a confusion actually. In the case of C and C++, this is a confusion actually. In the case of Java, it's very clear that only one file. After completion of after the compilation process, no. In the case of Java, only dot class files we are able to get. Understand my point here. But in the case of C and C++, it may be .obj file, it may be .exe file, it may be .ai file, like different files we are able to get. But no confusion in the case of Java, directly .class file. Remember this. Okay, fine. All right, sir. Then after that, after completion of this, now try to understand this. Whenever we perform this compilation, here we are getting what files here we are getting there? No, that means exe file here we are getting there. We have to execute the program. So I need to go for what their execution process. Here we have to go for what their execution process here. All right, sir. Understand this clearly. How we are going to perform this execution here. 1 minute. Right, sir. Here we need to go for like what there some execution process here we have to perform. Okay. Then after that, what I am telling to you, when we are performing execution here, whenever we are performing execution, automatically the dot class file is going to be executed. One minute, sir. Something is going to be happen. Okay, don't worry. Let me provide this. Now this is like what their execution we have to understand. Right. What happened? Okay, fine. Execution here we are performing here. Now try to understand this execution here. When we perform execution, so here directly we are able to get some outputs. So we have to go for like what there some results here we are able to get. Already this type of approach here we have seen yesterday also regarding this. Here outputs here we are getting now. Try to understand this. Right, sir. This is overall the process here what we are having there directly. Okay. Right, that's okay, fine. Here we are getting outputs. Now understand it now. For compilation purpose, I have to use what there? One operating system. For execution purpose, we have to use what there? Operating system. Definitely. To perform compilation, we need operating system. To perform execution, definitely we need what there? Execution key. That means operating system key. No. For our information, I'm telling to you. For our information, I'm telling to you. Windows operating system here I'm using there. Windows operating system here we are using. For example, for compilation here we are using what there? Windows operating system. Observe carefully. All right. For execution point of view, for the sake of the description, I need to use what there? The same Windows operating system here we have to use. Am I right or not? The same Windows operating system here we have to use. Am I right or not? Observe carefully what I'm telling you now. But what happened there? Listen carefully. For the sake of the discussion, I want to use Linux operating system. For the sake of the discussion, I want to use what there? Linux operating system. Sir, getting my point or not? For the sake of the right point here, what I'm telling there, for the sake of the discussion, I want to use what there? Linux operating system. Okay, fine. All of you observe carefully. When we compile our program on Windows operating system, .exe file is created. What file is created? No, .exe file is created. Then what is the job of the .exe file? What is the job of the .exe file? Right? Now observe carefully. What this .exe file is able to do? .exe file, right, sir? .exe file is .exe file contains directly executable code. .exe file contains directly executable code. Okay, it contains directly what code here? Executable code. Moreover, it is having the local operating system. It's having the local operating system representations. It's having the local operating system representations. Guys, all of you understand this point clearly. .exe file contains directly executable code. It's having the local operating system representations. That is, what representations are available here? That is, Windows representations are available. That is what representations there? Windows representations. Is that clear or not? Okay, fine. This .exe file is having Windows representation as we compile our program on Windows operating system. Okay, now let's come to the execution process. Actually, who is performing this execution, guys? Now tell me. C engine is performing execution or not? Okay, now the C engine is installed on the top of what there? Linux operating system or not? The C engine is performing execution on what operating system there? Linux operating system. Now understand this. C engine. What is the capability of C engine now? As it was available on Linux operating system, C engine is able to execute only. It is able to execute only which representations? No, Linux representations. It able to execute which representations here? Linux representations. Why? Because this engine is available on which operating system? No, Linux operating system. But now tell me here, some incompatibility is available there. Some incompatibility here we are getting there. Now try to understand this clearly. Right, sir. What is that incompatibility? When we compile C program on Windows operating system, here we are getting .exe file. This .exe file contains what representations there? Windows representations. What representations are available here? Windows representations. Please recognize this. Windows representations. When we send that Windows represented .exe file to the Linux operating system, How the C engine is able to understand these Windows representations? As it is installed on the top of the Linux, it is expecting .exe file with the Linux representations. But unfortunately, .exe file is coming with which representations? No, Windows representations. So here some incompatibility is coming or not? So our program will not be executed now. Our program will not be executed here. But if you want to execute this program, here, what I have to do there? What we have to do, guys? Now tell me. If you want to run this program, only one option we have there. What is that option here? No, just remove this Linux operating system. In place of this Linux operating system, what operating system here we have to provide there? Windows operating system here we have to provide. Remove that Linux operating system. In place of that, what we have to provide there? Windows operating system. If we provide Windows operating system for execution, then what's going to be happen there? Now tell me. In place of this Linux, here we have to provide like what there? Windows representations. In place of Linux, here what we have to provide there? Windows representations. Now the C engine is installed on the top of Windows now. It able to understand Windows representations directly. Now understand this now. Now compatibility is available here. We compiled our C program on Windows. .exe file is generated with what representations? No, Windows representations. Now we are giving Windows represented .exe file on what they know on Windows representations only. Windows represented .exe file we are giving to C engine, which is available on Windows operating system only. Moreover, here C engine is expecting which representations? No, Windows representations only. Because of that reason here, what I am telling to you clearly. So if you want to execute C program for compilation and execution, we must provide the same operating system. For compilation and execution, we must provide, and what they know, same operating system. Sir, all of you get my point or not clearly? No. Right, sir. This is the reason why. Now tell me here, C programming language execution is depending on the operating system which we use it for compilation or not? Come on, guys. We have to answer for my question here. C programming language execution is totally depending on the operating system which we use it for compilation or not. Whatever the operating system we have used for compilation, the same operating system we must be used for execution or not. So by this we can conclude C and C++ are what their platform dependent programming languages. C and C++ are what their platform dependent programming languages. Guys, all of you are following these points now? Right, so now this is what exactly the content here we have to understand. Now let me have some point here. One note I want to specify now. The same explanation I want to give in a simple point. Now try to understand it now. If we compile C application on Windows operating system, if we compile C program on Windows operating system, then compiler will generate a .exe file, where .exe file contains directly executable code. .exe file contains directly executable code, and it has the local operating system representations. What are these local operating system representations here? No, that is which representations are available? Windows representations. Sir, all of you get my point or not? Right, sir. No, that is Windows representations. If we compile C applications on Windows operating system, then compiler will generate .exe file, where .exe file contains directly executable code, and it has the local operating system representations, that is Windows representations. Now understand this clearly. In this context, if you want to execute Windows represented .exe file, we must use the same Windows operating system for execution. We must use the same Windows operating system for what their execution. Understand my point clearly? Right, sir. If we compile C application on Windows operating system, then compiler will generate .exe file, where .exe file contains directly executable code, and it has the local operating system representations, that is Windows representations. In this context, if we want to execute Windows represented.exe file, we must use the same operating system for execution. Clear to all of you? All right, so then whatever the diagram here I given there, I want to give the diagrammatic representation for you. All right, for the sake of you, I'm giving this diagram here. We can use this diagram here clearly. Okay, right, sir. This is clearly the information related to what there, how C and C++ are platform dependent programming languages. Now here, what we have to understand the next one, platform independent programming language. Right, sir. When a programming language is platform independent programming language. Right, sir. Observe carefully. What's the point here? If any programming language, allows its applications, in the case of platform dependent programming language, what I said to you, if any programming language allows its applications to perform compilation and execution on the same operating system. But the point of what I'm telling there, if any programming language allows its applications to perform compilation is on one operating system, and execution is on another operating system. Execution is on what there? Another operating system. Then that programming language is called as platform independent programming language. Then that programming language is what there? Platform independent programming language. Understand the definition here? Once again, no? What's the point here I'm telling there? If any programming language allows its applications to perform compilation on one operating system and execution is on another operating system, then that programming language is called a platform independent programming language. Examples are what there? Java, Python, and so on. So many examples are available. Java, Python, and so on. Okay, good, nice. Let's see this point here. All of you observe carefully how Java is a platform independent programming language. How Java is a platform independent programming language. This point here we have to understand now. Right, sir. Now I'm going to give some diagrammatic representation. Put more concentration on this. Everybody, whether C is a platform dependent or not, that is not required for us. Just in the comparison point of view, I said to you. But we must understand how Java is a platform independent. That is our mandatory part for us. As we are going to learn Java programming language, it's mandatory to understand how Java is a platform independent programming language. Right, sir. Now let's see this point. I'll give some diagrammatic representation, try to understand it. First, observe this clearly, all of you know. I want to take a Java program here. This is .java. Clear? Next one is, I want to perform compilation. So let me go for what there? Compilation. When I compile this Java file, automatically I'm able to get which file here we are getting, sir? Now tell me. When we compile Java program there, here we are getting what file here? .exe file here we are getting. Clear up to now? .exe file here we are getting. Nice. Sorry. .class file. Right, sir. .class file here we are getting. Observe carefully. One time I want to compile this program. As per the definition, we can run the same Java program in multiple operating systems. Compilation is on one operating system and execution is going to be happening in different operating systems. In any other operating system, we can execute our Java program. That's the definition. There is a definition here. Understand my point or not? All right. Now let's observe this clearly. Now here, I want to go for what there execution process here I want to do. How many times execution process here I want to do there? Multiple times execution here I want to do. What are these multiple times here execution here we want to do there? Observe carefully. Observe carefully. Here one time execution here I want to do there. After that one time execution, we are going to get some outputs. Here, this is like what I'm telling to you, execution. And here, this is what their output. Okay. All of you observe carefully. Now for execution also, we are going to use one operating system. Definitely we need some operating system for execution point. Like this, I want to perform multiple executions. This is another time execution. This is another time execution. Okay. One more time, I want to execute this. Like this. Overall, how many times can we executed our program here? Now tell me. 4 times we executed our programs here. How many times we compiled our program there? Only one time we compiled our program. Sir, all of you are getting my point or not? Right. Let's observe carefully. One more point here I'm telling to you. I want to confirm some operating systems. For compilation, I'm using what their Windows operating system. For execution, I'm using what their Linux operating system. Another time execution, I'm using what their Unix operating system. Another time, I'm using what their Mac operating system. Another time, again, I want to use the same Windows operating system. Okay, observe carefully this diagram here. We are getting some information now. Compilation is on one operating system, but execution is going on what there different operating system. At the end, I have taken again same operating system Windows. One case I have taken what there Windows operating system there. Clear? All of you observe carefully. When we compile our program, on which operating system there? No, Windows operating system. What files here we are able to get there? Dot class files here we are getting. Got it? No. Now here we are performing like what there compilation. Here we performed here. Right. Dot class files here we are getting. Let's understand what is the purpose of the dot class file. What exactly the purpose of what exactly the meaning of dot class file? Here we need to understand it clearly. Listen carefully. What is this dot class file here? Dot class file. First of all, tell me dot exe file we understood in C and C++. Dot exe file contains what? Directly executable code, and it is having local operating system representations. If we compile C program on Windows, no Windows representations are available in no .exe file. There is a comparison here. Now, but understand this now. Dot class file contains bytecode. Dot class file contains what code here? Bytecode. What is this bytecode actually? It is not directly executable code. Bytecode is what there? It is not a directly executable code. Okay, if it is not directly executable code, what is this code actually? It is an intermediate code. It is what there? An intermediate code. It's not byte, it's not directly executable code. Okay, then what is this actually? It's an intermediate code. Okay, it does not include any operating system representations. It's not does not include any operating system representations, including Windows, including what there? Windows. Please read out the statement here. What I have given there up to now. Read out the statement. Data class file information I have given. Here at the end of this point, I will ask the question to you. What are the differences between .exe file and a data class file? So meanwhile, we have to understand what exactly the point about what the dot class file. Now tell me, dot class file contains bytecode. It is not a directly executable code. It is an intermediate code. It does not include any operating system representations, including Windows. It's very clear that even though we compile our program on Windows, no, but the generated dot class file doesn't have Windows representations. Not only Windows, no, it doesn't have any other operating system representations. It is an intermediate code. It is not directly executable code. It is not source code. It is not executable code. It is a mediator. It is a middle code. It is an intermediate code. At the same time, which doesn't include any operating system representations. Clear? Right. But there is a point here. What is the point I'm telling to you? Observe carefully. I'm giving clarity to all of you guys. Now try to understand it. No, if we want to execute our program in a Linux operating system, that dot class file must have Linux representations. This is a twist. If we want to execute any bytecode on Linux operating system, what we required actually here we required Linux representations. If we want to execute our code on Linux operating system, what we required here? Linux representations here we required. Okay, leave this one. Next point here I'm telling there. If we want to execute our bytecode on Unix operating system, needs Unix representations. Bytecode, neutral bytecode is not sufficient. To execute this bytecode on any of the operating system, that operating system representations are required. Next one is, if you want to execute our bytecode on a Mac operating system, required Mac representations. Required what representations? There no Mac representations. If we want to execute our bytecode on a Windows operating system, again what we required here? Windows representations here we required. Yes, sir. All of you get my point or not? If we want to execute our bytecode on any of the operating system, we required which representations here? No, the local operating system representations here we required. Tell me, up to now, in this situation, is it possible for this dot class file to execute in either of these operating systems? Come again, what's the point I said to you? It's very, very valid point here. Now, up to now, I given the clear-cut information, but you have to understand this clearly. What is the point I said to you up to now? First of all, here what we have taken is our .java file. On which operating system we compiled this .java file? No, Windows operating system. When we compile our .java file on Windows operating system, what file here we are getting there? .class file we are getting. What is the nature of the .class file? A dot class file contains what code? Bytecode. What is the nature of the bytecode? It is not a directly executable code. So which code it is? No, it is an intermediate code. What is the nature of that intermediate code? It doesn't include any operating system representations, including Windows. Why I'm stressing on this Windows? No, we compiled our code on what there? Windows. No. Even though you compile your code on Windows, no, dot class file doesn't have what there? Windows representations. Clear? But what's the problem here? If we want to execute this dot class file in any of the operating system, dot class file must have the local operating system representation. This is a condition. If you want to run this bytecode on any of the operating system, that bytecode must have the respective operating system representations. Then only that code will be executed. Get my point or not? So here, what's the point I'm telling there? If you want to execute this bytecode on a Linux operating system, need which representations? No, Linux representations. If you want to execute that bytecode on Unix operating system, no, need which representations here? Unix representations. If you want to run this bytecode on Mac, no, Mac representations are required. If you want to run this bytecode on Windows, no, again what we require here? Windows representations here we require. Now, is it possible to execute our bytecode in any of the operating system as of now? No, not possible. Why? Because the dot class file contains which code here? No, intermediate code, neutral bytecode. It has only what there? Neutral bytecode. It doesn't have what there? It doesn't have any other one here. It doesn't have any other content here. Observe carefully. So now here I am telling to you, observe carefully. But how we are able to execute this program? How it is possible to execute our program here? Right, exactly. Observe carefully, exactly. In this particular situation, this situation is almost the same as C and C++ situation. Same, whatever the problem we have seen in C and C++, the same problem is coming here again. Answer my point here. So now tell me, all of you now tell me here, all of you now tell me, observe carefully. In this particular situation, to make Java as a platform independent programming language, to execute Java applications in a different operating systems, to make Java as a platform independent programming language, to execute Java applications on a different operating systems. In this particular situation, what Sun Microsystems has done there, Sun Microsystems has provided some converters to translate the program from neutral bytecode to local operating system representations. Sun Microsystems has provided some translators, not translators, some converters. Some converters are provided by Sun Microsystems to translate our bytecode from neutral nature to the local operating system representations. Right, where these converters are provided exactly, right, Sun Microsystems has given some converters here. That converters are provided where, at which location they are existed here? Exactly in this location, that all the converters are provided here. Exactly in this location, all the converters are provided. Observe carefully here, what we are providing here. This is one converter, and this is what there? Another converter. This is what there? Another converter. This is another converter. Please recognize this. Converters are provided here. Okay, now tell me, what is the job of this converter here now? Job of this converter is taking neutral bytecode as an input, converting that neutral bytecode into what there? Linux representations. What is the job of this converter here? No, the job of this converter is what there? Taking neutral bytecode as an input, converting that neutral bytecode into Unix representations. What is the job of this converter here? Taking neutral bytecode as an input, converting that neutral bytecode into what there? No, Mac representations. What is the job of this converter here? Taking this neutral bytecode as an input, converting that neutral bytecode into what there? Like Windows representations. Yes, sir. All of you are getting my point or not clearly? Here, finally, here what we required here we need some converters or not? Guys, observe carefully. Here what we required here, no, here we required some converters or not? All right, sir. Now, here definitely we required some converters here. This is one converter, another one like this here, we are getting some converters. Okay, now just I want to give some name also for this converters here. Observe carefully. This is like what I'm telling there, converters. This is like what I'm telling there, converters. This is one type of converter. Here also be like what there, this is like what there, another type of converter. Overall, these many converters are existed here. Now understand the point here, what's going to be happen here. First we compile our Java program on what there, Windows operating system. We got what file here? No, dot class file. What's the nature of the dot class file here? 1 minute, sir. Yes, what is the nature of the dot class file? Now tell me. The nature of the dot class file is what there? Dot class file contains a byte code. It is not a directly executable code, It is an intermediate code. It does not include any operating system representations, include Windows operating system representations. Next one, if we complete this point here, another point is what there, dot class file is available. So if you want to execute this dot class file on Linux, no, need Linux representations over this bytecode. If you want to execute this on Unix, no, required Unix representations. If you want to execute this on Mac, no, required Mac representations. If you want to execute this in Windows, no, Windows representations are required. So for the sake of converting our bytecode into the local operating system representations, no, some converters are provided. Now observe carefully here, this bytecode, if we give this dot class file to this first converter will convert this bytecode to Linux representations where execution is going to be performed. So we are able to get some output directly. Again, no, if we give this bytecode to this second converter here, it will convert that neutral bytecode into Unix representations, then it will execute that Unix code, then finally we are able to get some output. Similarly, if we give this dot class file to the third converter will convert this neutral bytecode to Mac representations and execution is going to be happen. Finally, we are able to get some output. If we give this neutral bytecode to the last converter, it will convert that bytecode into what there? Windows representations. No, that program will be executed there. Finally, we are able to get some output. Now, our requirement is completed or not? Our requirement is completed or not? All of you understand my point here? Okay, fine. So finally, what happened here? Java program compiled in one operating system and executed in multiple operating systems or not? Java program is compiled in one operating system and executed in multiple operating systems or not? Right, so now this is what exactly the point here we understood clearly. So because of this reason, Java is platform independent programming language or not? Due to this reason, we can conclude Java is what their platform independent programming language. But here my question is, Sun Microsystems has provided these converters. Am I right or not? But how Sun Microsystems has provided these converters? That's my question now. How Sun Microsystems has provided these converters? That's my question now. Observe carefully. Sun Microsystems has provided these converters. Sun Microsystems has provided these converters along with execution in a single mission. Here also Sun Microsystems has provided these converters along with execution in a single mission. Here also Sun Microsystems has provided this converter along with execution in a single mission. Here also single mission is provided for execution, for conversion and execution. Now in this overall scenario, that single mission is called as JVM. Conclusion. Right, the single mission is called as what there? Now tell me JVM. Right, sir. Here also we hear what is there? JVM. The single mission which is taking the responsibility of converting our neutral bytecode into the local operating system representations and executing that code here. The total responsibility would be taken care by one mission. That mission is what there? JVM. What is that JVM? No. Java Virtual Mission. What is that JVM here? Java Virtual Mission. I can ask one question to all of you guys. Now try to answer for it. In Java, what are the responsibilities of the JVM in this particular context? Now tell me, two responsibilities are available. What are the two responsibilities? No, translating neutral bytecode into local operating system represented code. Local operating system represented code. Am I right or not? Local operating system represented code is called as native code. Local operating system represented code is what there? Native code. This is neutral code. After conversion, that is what there? Native code. That will be converted internally. Native code will be converted in what there? Internally. So JVM is converting that bytecode into native code and executing that native code. JVM is converting bytecode into the native code and executing that native code and getting some outputs. Sir, all of you get my point or not? Two responsibilities are available for JVM. What are the two responsibilities? No. First one is converting bytecode to native code and executing that native code. That's it. They are the two responsibilities of the JVM. Got my point or not? Listen carefully. I'm going to ask one more question to all of you. Try to answer for it. No. In this overall execution process, how many times we compiled our program? Come on guys, how many times we compiled our program? Is that only one time or multiple times? How many times we compiled our program? Only one time we compiled our program. But how many times we executed our program? How many times we execute our program? Multiple times we executed our program. Am I right or not? Compilation is only one time, but execution is going on what there? How many times? No, multiple times. 4 times we execute our program or not? 4 times we execute our program. Now you only tell me, for 4 times execution, here how many types of JVMs are used? Only one JVM or 4 different JVMs? Think and give answer. Only one JVM or 4 different JVMs? No. My question is very much clear. 4 times we are executing our program. For 4 times execution of the program, one JVM or 4 JVMs? Right. Anyway, your answer I'm giving to you clearly. Answer is what there? 4 JVMs, not one JVM. 4 JVMs here we are using. Not one JVM, 4 JVMs here we are using. Yes, all of you are getting clarity on this now. How many JVMs we have used here? 4 JVMs. How sir? How 4 JVMs here now? All right, understand my statement here. Java is a platform independent programming language because of JVMs only. Java is platform independent programming language because of what there? JVM only. Because of JVM only. But JVM is platform dependent. JVM is platform dependent. That is the point here. In general, we may not believe this point here, but actually the truth is what? The same thing. Java is a platform independent programming language because of JVM only. But JVM is what there? Platform dependent. So here this JVM, I'm telling to you, this JVM is what there? Linux based JVM. Got my point or not? This JVM is what there? Linux based JVM. Now this JVM is what there? Now tell me, this is what there? Unix based JVM. Unix based JVM. Similarly, this JVM is what guys? Now tell me, this is what they know. This is a Mac based JVM. Mac based JVM. Observe carefully. Right, sir. Similarly, the last one is available. This JVM is what they now tell me. This is a Windows based JVM. Now, finally, the conclusion is what there? Java is platform independent programming language because of JVMs only. But JVM is what there? Platform dependent. JVM is what there? Platform dependent. Yes, sir. Am I right or not? All of you are getting clarity on this point or not? Okay, fine. I'm giving one more point here. Try to observe this clearly. Not only JVM, not only JVM, the complete Java software, not only JVM, the complete Java software is platform dependent. Java programming language is platform independent, but Java software is a platform dependent. Again, I'm telling you, understand this clearly. Java software is nothing but collection of the Java tools. What are the collection of Java tools? No, Java compiler one tool, JVM another tool, Java documentator is another one, Java profiler is another one. Like this, 30 to 35 number of tools, integration, combination is a Java software. I get my point or not? But all these Java tools are dependent on the operating systems only. They are platform dependent only. Java compiler is dependent on platform operating system. JVM is dependent on operating system. Java profiler is dependent on operating system. All these are dependent on what they know? Operating systems only. So the total Java software is what their platform dependent. But Java programming language is what their platform independent. By using Java programming language, if you prepare any program, that is platform independent. Compile on one operating system, execute in multiple operating systems. Up to that, it's okay. But the underlying Java software, whatever the Java software here we are using there, that is a platform dependent. I'm asking one more question to you. If you want to execute this total process, if you want to complete this total diagram, tell me how many Java softwares we have installed there now. Tell me. First of all, tell me how many operating systems we have used here. 5 operating systems we have used or not? But don't think about compilation Windows, and here also be compilation. Overall, different missions now. Overall, 5 computers we have used or not? 5 operating systems we have used or not? That means how many times we installed Java software? 5 times we installed Java software. At each and every mission, a separate Java software here we installed here. Observe carefully. Now here for compilation Windows we are using. Definitely we require Java software. We need Java software. Then only we are able to perform compilation. For compilation here we are compiling Java program, in the sense here Java software is required or not. Which Java software is required now? Windows represented Java software is required. Now here we executed our Java program here. So Linux we are executing Java program. There also Java software is required or not? To execute Java program, Java software is required or not? So there also we have to install Java software on Linux. Now tell me, here also Java software is required or not on Unix operating system? On Unix also Java software is required to execute our program there. On Mac also Java software is required. On Windows also Java software is required. In everywhere Java software is required. Everywhere Java software is required. Yes, sir. All of you are getting these points or not? Right, sir. So then everywhere here, what happened there? Java softwares here we required. So nearly 5 times we installed our Java softwares clearly. So this is what exactly the meaning of like what there? Platform independent programming language. Right, sir. Now observe carefully here. Few points here I want to be specific. No, just I have given only information like what there. What is platform independent programming language? Observe carefully. Observe carefully. If we compile Java application on Windows operating system, what happens, sir? No, okay, fine. If we compile Java application on Windows operating system, then compiler will generate what file, you know? Dot class file. Dot class file. Where dot class file contains what code there? Byte code. It is not directly executable code. Okay, it is what there? It is not directly executable code. It is an intermediate code. It is an intermediate code, and it does not include any operating system representations. It does not include any operating system representations. Observe carefully the point what I am telling you now. Including Windows. Right, sir. This is the point here what I am telling you now. Observe carefully. If we compile a Java program on Windows operating system, then compiler will generate dot class file, where dot class file contains byte code. It is not directly executable code. It is an intermediate code, and it does not include any operating system representations, including what there? Windows operating system. Right, sir. In the above context, if we want to execute byte code on any operating system, we must convert neutral bytecode into local operating system conversion. We must convert neutral bytecode into local operating system representations. That is native code. That is what code, you know? Native code. That means bytecode to native code conversion is required. That's the point I'm telling there. Native code. Got my point here? Okay, fine. In the above context, Sun Microsystems has provided what it has provided there. Observe carefully. Sun Microsystems has provided a set of converters a set of converters along with execution in the form of what's the component here, in the form of what there, JVM in order to execute Java application in multiple operating systems. That is, instead of saying this point here, what is the point I'm telling there? That is to make Java as a platform independent programming language. Direct conclusion here I given there. Try to understand this clearly. So in the above context, Sun Microsystems has provided a set of converters along with execution in the form of JVM in order to execute Java applications. Instead of saying in the form of JVM, along with execution as part of JVM. As part of JVM in order to execute Java applications on multiple operating systems. That is to make Java as a platform independent programming language. Now let's come for the conclusion here. Java is a platform independent programming language because of JVMs only. Because of JVMs only. But what's the point here? No, but JVM is what their platform dependent. But JVM is what their platform dependent. Note I'm telling there, not only JVM. Not only JVM, the complete Java software is a platform dependent. Not only JVM, the complete Java software is what there? Platform dependent. Observe carefully what I'm telling to you. Right, sir. Then here I given some diagrammatic representation. We have to understand this diagram here clearly. Guys, all of you are following these notes. Otherwise, unnecessarily I'm typing this entire content here. Are you getting these notes? All of you are following these notes there. Every day, try to read that notes. Because of you, I'm typing this total content here. Even though I'm putting some time, I'm putting some effort there to provide these notes now. Then try to read this one. Even this kind of content you may not get in the internet even. Understand, guys, what I'm telling you? See, then how much my notes is important. I want to give some examples to you. Try to understand this clearly. Okay? Understand my point clearly. Even don't think about myself. I'm giving some words about myself, no, but real information I'm telling there. Some trainers in Amirpet are taking my notes as a reference. Real, I'm telling there. Even at Durgasoft also, some trainers are taking online classes there. They have taken my notes as a reference, and I'm teaching the content from here. Every time in the demo class also, I'm saying to you, at the end of the course, you should be in a position to teach Java to somebody else now. Number of times I used to say that point here. Because of this type of materials only. Because of this is one of the reason why I'm telling you. If you have this total document with you, you can explain Java to somebody else easily. Not even for getting job. Even after getting job in the company, you can take some kind of technology transformation to your colleagues. KD, we can apply that. KT, we can apply there. Answer my point, Kenno. So this kind of things are possible, Kenno. So that's why I'm telling to you, notes is very, very important. This document is very, very important. Live document in the live class, whatever the content I'm explaining in that class, no, as is I'm trying to put that in the form of these words. So then better to use this document here. Otherwise, it's unnecessary only. Why? Because I'm putting some effort to prepare this document inside the class. Okay, fine. Now at the end of the story, I can give download option for this total document. By the end of the course, we are able to download it. Why? Because at present I'm unable to give it. If I give the download option there, people may work on this particular one. Unnecessarily, it may be disturbance to everybody. That's why I'm not giving the download option as of now. We can view that notes. We can see the content here totally. But at the end of the course, I'll give download option at a time. We can download the total document here. Okay, right, sir. Then again, I'm telling you, if any of your new member today, if you want to get notes, this is a URL. We can use this URL. We can get these notes there. Access this note through this particular URL. And other thing is like what I'm telling to you. Apart from this link is for only classroom notes, not for not for videos. Videos will be provided through another link. Our admin people will send that video support to you. Videos and everything will be provided by admin people. For every class, videos will be provided by our admin people. So try to contact with your admin people for the sake of videos. For classroom notes and diagrams point of view, I am taking the responsibility. I will share this particular point here. Yes, guys, all of you are getting this point or not? Okay, fine. This is what I am telling to you, the content here. Try to recognize this. So this part here we completed. Then overall here we understood one point here. What's the point here we understood up to now? Listen carefully. Differences between Java and others we are discussing there, where the third difference here we understood. But here we have a question. One important interview question is available. What's that question here? What are the differences between .exe file and .class file? This is a question, guys. What are the differences between .exe file and .class file? Here we have to provide answer for this particular question. We have to go for what their answer for this particular question. Clear? All of you are getting clarity on this point now? All right, sir. Now 2 minutes. I'll finish this point here. Why this? Why because with this we are able to complete the total point here. Now tell me, what are the points here we are able to understand there? First one is .exe files existed in C and C++. C and C++. Right, sir. Next one is, what about this dot class file? Dot class files exist in Java. Dot class files are existed in Java, and .exe files exist in C and C++. That's point number one. Next one is what there? Point number two. Observe carefully. .exe files contains directly executable code. Already we understood this point here. But whereas .class files containing or .class files containing one minute. .class files contain right, so no problem, containing bytecode. .class files containing what code? Byte code. It is not directly executable code. This is not a directly executable code. Okay, fine. Next one is after that. Point number three. What is this third one here? .exe file. .exe file. It is not directly executable code. One more point here. It is an intermediate code. It is an intermediate code. Next one. .class file is a platform dependent. But whereas .class file is a platform independent file. Am I right or not? .exe file is platform dependent, which has operating system dependent code. But .class file is containing neutral bytecode. It is not a directly executable code. It is not directly what their source code. It is an intermediate code. It is not following any of the operating system representations. Next one, fourth point here I'm telling to you. Observe carefully. .exe file is able to provide lesser security. .exe file is able to provide what there? Lesser security. But whereas .class files is able to provide more security. Java uses .class file. Java is more secure than what there? C and C++. In that way also here we are able to understand clearly. So mainly these are the differences here we are able to understand. Now try to understand here. What are the various differences here we are getting there? .exe file exists in C and C++. .class files exist in what there? Java. .exe files contains directly executable code. .class file contain bytecode. It is not directly executable code. It is an intermediate code. .exe file is platform dependent. .class file is platform independent. .exe file is able to provide less security. .class file is able to provide what there? More security. Right, guys. Now these are the various points here we understood there. After completion of this, now the fourth difference tomorrow I'm going to discuss about that fourth difference here. That will be like what there. Observe carefully. Pointers are existed in C and C++, but pointers are not existed in Java. This is the next point here we have to understand. There, after completion of this, we'll go for multiple inheritance and its related content here. That content we will discuss on tomorrow, right? That's all, guys. That's all for today. Then tomorrow we'll see the remaining content. Thank you. Thanks so much. Right. And Ibrahim Muhammad, please come on. Tell me. Type it fast because I have some other session also. Now type it fast. You guys, and if required notes there, just use this link. I'm going to share this link in chat box. Then try to use this link then so that you can get the notes. You can access the notes. Right. I shared that notes to all of you guys. Just take that link and you can use that link. Anyway, okay. All right, guys. Anything else, guys? Shall we meet on tomorrow? Shall we meet on tomorrow? Yeah. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, guys. Thanks a lot. To meet on tomorrow. Tomorrow I'll see the remaining part totally. Yeah.